I close the door behind me and the sound echoes through the quiet house, louder than it should be, as if the silence itself is listening. The hallway is dim, lit only by the soft glow of a nightlight near the baseboard, casting long shadows that stretch across the walls like fingers reaching toward me. I stand there for a moment, my hand still on the doorknob, feeling the cool metal beneath my palm. And I realize my fingers are trembling, not from cold, but from something deeper, something that has been building inside me all day, pressing against my ribs, making it hard to breathe fully, making every exhale feel incomplete. I move slowly toward the bedroom, each step deliberate, as if I'm walking through water. My body feels heavy, weighted down by invisible things I've been carrying since morning, maybe longer, maybe for weeks. The kind of weight that doesn't show up on a scale, but settles into your shoulders, your chest, the place behind your eyes where tears gather even when you don't let them fall. I didn't cry today, not in front of anyone. I kept my voice steady during conversations, kept my face composed when people asked if I was okay, nodded and smiled and said the things you're supposed to say. But now, in this quiet space where no one can see me, I feel everything I held back beginning to surface, rising like water that's been held behind a dam. And I don't know if I have the strength to keep it contained anymore. The bedroom door is already open, a rectangle of deeper darkness against the dim hallway light. I step inside, and the air feels different here, cooler somehow, though the temperature hasn't changed. It's the kind of cool that comes from emptiness, from space that holds too much quiet. I don't turn on the overhead light. Instead, I reach for the small lamp on the nightstand, the one with the soft amber bulb that doesn't hurt my eyes. And when I click it on, the room fills with a warm glow that barely pushes back the shadows in the corners. The walls seem farther away than they should be, and the ceiling disappears into darkness above me. I can hear my own breathing, shallow and uneven, and I realize I've been breathing this way all day without noticing, never quite filling my lungs, never quite letting go. I sit on the edge of the bed and my hands are still shaking. I press them together, fingers interlaced, trying to steady them, but the trembling moves up my arms, settles into my chest, becomes part of my heartbeat. It's not fear of anything I can name. Not exactly. It's more like the accumulation of everything, the weight of too many thoughts, too many worries, too many moments when I felt like I was barely holding on. The day stretched long behind me, filled with conversations I couldn't quite navigate, decisions I wasn't sure were right, moments when I felt inadequate, moments when I felt invisible, moments when I felt too visible, too exposed, too seen in ways that made me want to hide. And now, at the end of it all, I'm here in this quiet room with only the sound of my own breathing and the awareness that tomorrow I'll have to do it all over again, and I don't know if I have the strength. The shadows on the walls seem to lean inward, as if they're listening, as if they know something I don't. I've always felt this way at night, especially when I'm alone, especially when the world has gone quiet and there's nothing to distract me from my own thoughts. During the day, I can keep moving, keep busy, keep my mind occupied with tasks and conversations and the constant motion of life. But at night, when everything stops, when the noise fades and the busyness ends, I'm left with just myself. And that's when everything I've been avoiding comes rushing in. The worries I pushed aside, the fears I didn't want to acknowledge, the questions I don't have answers to. They all gather around me in the darkness, pressing close, demanding attention. I look down at my hands, still pressed together, and I notice how small they look in the lamplight, how fragile. These hands that held it together today, that typed emails and stirred coffee and gestured during conversations, now they can't even stay still. I think about all the things they couldn't hold, all the things that slipped through my fingers despite my best efforts. The sense of control I tried to maintain, the composure I tried to project, the peace I tried to find. All of it feels distant now, unreachable, like something I was pretending to have rather than something I actually possessed. The room is so quiet, I can hear the faint hum of the refrigerator downstairs, the distant sound of a car passing on the street outside, the creak of the house settling into nighttime. These sounds that should be comforting, that should remind me I'm safe, instead make me feel more alone, more aware of how small I am in this vast world, how little control I actually have over anything that matters. I think about tomorrow, about the meetings I have to attend, the conversations I need to have, the responsibilities waiting for me, and my chest tightens. I think about the things I said today, the ways I might have fallen short, the impressions I might have left, and my stomach knots. I think about the people I love, the ways I worry about them, the things I can't protect them from, and my throat closes. I close my eyes, and the darkness behind my eyelids is somehow darker than the darkness in the room, and I feel tears gathering, hot and insistent, pressing against my closed lids. I've been holding them back all day, all week maybe, telling myself I'm fine, telling myself I can handle this, telling myself I just need to be stronger, to try harder, to figure it out. But here, in this quiet room with no one watching, with no need to pretend, I feel the truth of how tired I am, how overwhelmed, how close to breaking. The bed beneath me is soft, but I can't seem to relax into it. My muscles are tight, coiled, as if I'm bracing for something, though I don't know what. It's the kind of tension that lives in your body when you've spent too long trying to control things you can't control, when you've spent too long carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. My shoulders ache, my neck is stiff, and there's a headache building behind my eyes, the kind that comes from holding back tears, from clenching your jaw, from trying too hard for too long. I open my eyes and look around the room again. The lamp casts its gentle glow across the bed, across the floor, but the corners remain in shadow. I've always been afraid of the dark, not in a childish way, but in the way that comes from knowing the world can be unpredictable, knowing that safety is never guaranteed, knowing that loss can come without warning. In the darkness, I can't see what's there. In the darkness, my imagination fills in the blanks with all the things I'm afraid of. In the darkness, I feel vulnerable in ways I can hide from during the day. But tonight, something in me knows I can't keep running from this feeling. I can't keep pushing it down, can't keep pretending I'm stronger than I am, can't keep trying to hold it all together through sheer force of will. Tonight, I'm too tired to pretend. Tonight, the trembling in my hands has spread through my entire body, and I can't make it stop. Tonight, I need something I can't give myself. Something I've been too proud or too scared or too busy to ask for. So I whisper into the quiet room, my voice barely audible, cracked and uncertain, the words forming themselves before I fully decided to speak them. God, I'm scared. It's the simplest prayer I know, the most honest thing I can say. And as soon as the words leave my lips, I feel something shift in the atmosphere, subtle as a breath, gentle as a sigh. The air doesn't change temperature, the shadows don't move, but something about the quality of the silence transforms. It's no longer empty silence, no longer the silence of being alone. It becomes the silence of presence, the silence of being heard, the silence that holds space for whatever needs to be said. I take a shaky breath and continue, the words coming slowly, haltingly, like I'm learning to pray for the first time. I don't know how to do this anymore. I don't know how to keep going. I feel like I'm trembling from the inside out and I can't make it stop. I've tried to be strong, tried to handle everything, tried to keep it together, but I'm so tired. I'm so tired of pretending I'm okay when I'm not. I'm tired of carrying everything alone. I'm tired of being afraid of the dark, afraid of my own thoughts, afraid of tomorrow, afraid that I'm not enough, that I'll never be enough. The tears finally come, spilling over, running down my cheeks, hot and fast, and I don't try to stop them. I let them fall, let them soak into the collar of my shirt, let them release some of the pressure that's been building in my chest. It hurts to cry, hurts in the way that necessary things sometimes hurt. the way healing can feel like breaking before it feels like mending. My shoulders shake and I wrap my arms around myself, holding on, trying to comfort myself in the only way I know how. But my own arms feel inadequate, too small to contain all that I'm feeling. And then, so softly, I almost miss it. I feel something else. It's not a physical sensation exactly, though it feels physical. It's like warmth spreading through the room, like the air itself becoming gentler, softer, more tender. The shadows in the corners don't disappear, but they lose their edge, lose their threat, become just shadows again, instead of repositories for all my fears. The quiet stops feeling lonely and starts feeling like companionship, like someone sitting beside me without needing to say anything, just being present, just being there. I think of the verse I learned as a child, the one my grandmother used to quote when storms would frighten me in the night. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. At the time, I imagined it literally, pictured God as a giant bird spreading wings over me, and the image comforted me in its simplicity. But now, as an adult who has learned that fear comes in forms more complicated than thunderstorms, I understand it differently. I understand it as this sensation of being held without hands, covered without blankets, protected by a presence that doesn't remove the darkness, but transforms it into something I no longer need to fear. The trembling in my body begins to ease, not all at once, but gradually, like ice melting in spring. My breathing, which has been shallow and quick, starts to deepen, starts to slow. I can feel my heart rate beginning to settle, no longer racing, no longer pounding against my ribs as if trying to escape. My hands, which have been clenched together, begin to relax, fingers loosening, palms opening. It's as if something or someone is gently unwinding all the tension I've been holding, carefully untangling the knots I've tied myself into over days and weeks of trying to be strong enough, controlled enough, together enough. I whisper again, softer now, my voice steadier. I can't do this alone. I've been acting like I can, but I can't. I need you. I need you to be what I can't be. I need you to hold what I can't hold. I need you to carry what's too heavy for me. I need you to bring peace to places inside me that haven't known peace in so long. I've forgotten what it feels like. The lamp on the nightstand flickers slightly. Just a small fluctuation in the bulb. But in that moment it feels significant, like a nod of acknowledgement, like a sign that I'm not speaking into emptiness. I think about all the nights I've lain awake, mind racing, body tense, desperately trying to solve problems in my head that can't be solved at 3 a.m, trying to plan for every possible outcome, trying to protect myself from every potential hurt. I think about how exhausting it's been, how draining, how ultimately futile, because no matter how much I plan, no matter how carefully I try to control my circumstances, life remains unpredictable. People remain unpredictable. My own heart remains a mystery even to myself sometimes. But maybe that's the point. Maybe I was never meant to have it all figured out. Maybe I was never meant to be strong enough on my own. Maybe the trembling, the fear, the overwhelming sense of inadequacy, maybe these aren't signs that I'm failing, but signs that I'm human, that I need something beyond myself, that I was designed for dependence on something greater than my own strength. I feel the warmth again, more pronounced now, like invisible arms wrapping around me, like a blanket of peace settling over my shoulders. It doesn't make the problems go away. Tomorrow will still come with its challenges. The worries that plague me still exist out there in the world, still waiting. But somehow, in this moment, they feel distant, manageable. Not because I've suddenly gained the strength to handle them, but because I'm no longer trying to handle them alone. The weight I've been carrying begins to lift. Not because the burdens have disappeared, but because I'm finally willing to share them, to hand them over, to trust that there are hands stronger than mine to hold them. I lie back against the pillows, moving slowly, my body still careful, still tender, but no longer rigid with tension. The sheets are cool against my skin, and I pull the blanket up, tucking it around me. The fabric is soft, worn from many washings, and it carries the faint scent of lavender from the detergent I use. These small, ordinary comforts suddenly feel profound, feel like gifts I've been too distracted to notice, too overwhelmed to appreciate. The pillow cradles my head and I turn slightly, looking toward the window where thin curtains filter the moonlight outside. I can't see the moon from this angle, but I can see its reflection in the night sky. A soft glow that speaks of light still present even when the sun has set, even in the darkest hours. My thoughts, which have been a chaotic swirl of anxiety and worry, begin to sort themselves into something more manageable. Not solutions exactly, not answers, but a sense that solutions and answers will come in their own time, that I don't have to force them, that I don't have to figure everything out right now in this moment. There's a verse about that too. Something about not worrying about tomorrow because tomorrow will worry about itself, each day having enough trouble of its own. I used to think that was impossible advice, impractical, unrealistic. How can you not worry about tomorrow when tomorrow holds so many unknowns, so many possibilities for things to go wrong? But lying here, wrapped in this inexplicable peace, I'm beginning to understand it differently. It's not about pretending tomorrow doesn't exist, or that its challenges aren't real. It's about recognizing that worrying about it now, in the middle of the night when I can't do anything about it anyway, doesn't help. It's about trusting that when tomorrow comes, I won't face it alone, that the same presence I feel right now will still be there, that the peace covering me like a blanket won't disappear with the sunrise. I close my eyes again, and this time the darkness behind my eyelids doesn't feel threatening. Instead, it feels restful, feels like the natural darkness of night that invites sleep, that signals the body. It's time to let go, time to stop striving, time to rest. My breathing continues to deepen, and I become aware of my heartbeat, steady and calm now, no longer racing, no longer anxious. It beats with a rhythm that feels ancient, feels connected to something larger than my individual life. Reminds me that I am part of something bigger, held within a story that began long before I was born and will continue long after I'm gone. The fear that drove me to this room, that made my hands shake and my chest tight, hasn't completely disappeared. I can still sense it around the edges of my consciousness, still feel it lurking in the shadows. But it's no longer the dominant force, no longer the loudest voice in my head. Instead, there's this peace, this deep, abiding sense of safety that doesn't depend on my circumstances, doesn't require me to have everything figured out, doesn't demand that I be stronger or braver or more capable than I am. It simply is, given freely, covering me like a shelter, surrounding me like the walls of this room, but somehow infinitely larger, infinitely more secure. I think about all the times I've heard people talk about God's peace, how they describe it as surpassing understanding, as guarding hearts and minds. I've always wondered what that meant practically, how peace could surpass understanding, what that would actually feel like. Now I think I'm beginning to grasp it. Because this peace I'm experiencing doesn't make logical sense. My circumstances haven't changed. The problems I went to bed worrying about still exist. The fears that plagued me earlier are still valid concerns. And yet, despite all that, despite every rational reason to remain anxious, I feel peaceful. Not the fragile, temporary peace that comes from momentary distraction, but something deeper, more solid, more enduring. A peace that exists not because everything is okay, but because I'm learning to trust that even when everything isn't okay, I'm still held, still seen, still loved. The trembling has almost completely stopped now. My hands lie still on top of the blanket, relaxed, open. My shoulders have dropped away from my ears, releasing tension I didn't even realize I was holding. My jaw, which I've been unconsciously clenching for hours, maybe days, finally unclenches. I feel my facial muscles softening, the worried expression I'd been wearing melting away into something gentler, something that looks more like surrender than defeat, more like trust than resignation. I whisper into the darkness one more time, my voice barely audible, but I know the words are heard. Thank you for wrapping me in your peace. Thank you for not leaving me alone in my fear. Thank you for being patient with me when I try to do everything myself, when I forget to turn to you, when I convince myself I should be strong enough to handle it all alone. Thank you for this moment, for this quiet room, for this gentle darkness that no longer scares me, for this blanket of peace that covers me more completely than any physical covering could. The moonlight outside seems brighter now, or perhaps my eyes have simply adjusted, become more attuned to the subtle gradations of light and shadow. I can make out the shapes of furniture in the room, the dresser against the far wall, the chair in the corner, the doorway leading to the hall. They're just ordinary objects, part of my everyday life. But tonight they feel like witnesses to something sacred, something holy. This quiet transaction between my fear and God's peace. This moment of surrender that feels both intensely personal and universally human. I think about everyone else out there in the world, all the people lying awake right now in their own beds, wrestling with their own fears, carrying their own burdens, trembling with their own anxieties. I wonder how many of them feel alone, how many believe they're the only ones struggling, the only ones who can't quite hold it together, the only ones who go to bed shaking. And I wish I could tell them what I'm learning right now, that the trembling isn't a sign of weakness, but an invitation to discover a strength that doesn't come from within us. That the fear isn't something to be ashamed of, but something that can lead us to a peace we couldn't generate on our own. My eyelids are growing heavy now, the natural weight of sleep beginning to pull at them. I've fought this feeling so many nights, afraid that if I let go, if I allow myself to drift into unconsciousness, something terrible will happen. Some problem will go unsolved. Some disaster will unfold. But tonight, I'm too tired to fight, too worn down to resist, and surprisingly, I don't want to. Because for the first time in longer than I can remember, sleep doesn't feel like a dangerous loss of control, but like a gift, like a kind of trust, like a way of saying I believe that the world will keep turning even when I'm not conscious, that I don't have to monitor everything, manage everything, maintain everything through sheer force of will. There's another verse, one I remember from childhood bedtime prayers, simple words that carried me through many dark nights. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. As a child, I recited it without fully grasping its meaning, just following the pattern my mother taught me, saying the words because that's what you did before bed. But now, as an adult who has learned how elusive both peace and safety can feel, who has learned how many things in this world can threaten, can harm, can disrupt, I understand the profound hope contained in those words. Not a naive hope that nothing bad will ever happen, but a deeper hope that even in a world where bad things do happen, there is still a safety that transcends circumstances, a peace that doesn't depend on having everything under control. I let my eyes close fully now, no longer fighting the exhaustion, no longer resisting the pull toward rest. The room around me fades from consciousness, the lamplight and shadows and moonlight all blending into a general sense of dimness, of enclosure, of being contained within a space that feels protected, sanctified, made sacred not by any special quality of the room itself, but by the presence that fills it, by the peace that has transformed it from a place where I came trembling into a place where I can rest. My last conscious thought before sleep finally claims me is not a worry about tomorrow, not a rehearsal of all the things I need to do, not a catalogue of all my fears and failures. Instead, it's a simple acknowledgement, a final whisper of gratitude. If you cover me, I can rest. And in that moment, I realize that's exactly what's happening. I am covered, not by anything I can see or touch, but by something more real than physical coverings, more protective than locked doors, more comforting than any human embrace. I am wrapped in peace, held in safety, guarded by a presence that doesn't sleep. doesn't tire, doesn't abandon. The trembling that brought me to this bed has given way to stillness. The fear that followed me into this room has been met with comfort. The overwhelming sense of inadequacy has been replaced by the quiet assurance that I don't have to be adequate, that adequacy was never mine to achieve, that I was always meant to lean on strength beyond my own. And as sleep finally pulls me under, as consciousness fades and dreams begin, I carry with me this profound sense of being held, being kept, being loved not because I've earned it or achieved it, or made myself worthy of it, but simply because I am, because I exist, because I matter to a God who sees my trembling and responds not with disappointment at my weakness, but with the gentle wrapping of peace around my frightened heart. The night stretches out before me, hours of darkness still to come before dawn. But I am no longer afraid of it. The shadows that seemed so threatening when I first entered this room are just shadows now, natural parts of the night's landscape, no more dangerous than the moonlight streaming through the window. The quiet that felt so heavy, so oppressive, has become a companion, a soft silence that holds rather than threatens, that comforts rather than condemns. And my own body, which was so tense, so tightly wound, so ready to shatter, has finally relaxed, finally surrendered, finally accepted the invitation to rest. Tomorrow will come with its own challenges, its own worries, its own moments when I'll be tempted to take everything back on my own shoulders, to try once again to be strong enough, controlled enough, together enough. But tonight has taught me something I needed to learn, something I'll carry with me into whatever tomorrow brings. It has taught me that there is a peace available that doesn't depend on my circumstances, a safety that doesn't require me to have everything figured out, a covering that remains even when I can't feel it, even when I forget to ask for it, even when I convince myself I should be able to manage without it. And so I sleep, finally, deeply, wrapped in something softer than blankets, held by something stronger than arms, covered by something more reliable than any physical shelter. I sleep knowing that whatever the night holds, whatever the morning brings, whatever challenges await me in the days and weeks and months to come, I do not face them alone. I sleep with the trembling stilled, the fear quieted, the anxiety gentled into something manageable, something that no longer overwhelms. I sleep in peace, real peace, the kind that does indeed surpass understanding, the kind that guards not just my rest but my waking hours too, the kind that reminds me with every breath that I am held, I am loved, I am covered. The room settles into its own rest around me, the house quiet, the world outside spinning on through its dark hours, and I am finally, blessedly, gratefully still. The woman who entered this room trembling has been transformed not into someone who no longer fears, but into someone who knows what to do with her fear, where to take it, how to surrender it. And in that surrender, in that letting go, in that decision to stop trying to be my own savior and instead accept the salvation offered freely, I have found what I've been searching for through all those sleepless nights, through all those anxiety-filled days, through all those moments of overwhelming inadequacy. I have found rest, not the shallow rest of temporary distraction, not the fragile rest of momentary calm, but the deep rest of being truly, completely, safely held. And as sleep carries me further into the night, as dreams begin to form and consciousness fades entirely, I rest in this truth. When darkness shakes me, God covers me with His peace. When I come to bed trembling, He wraps me in stillness. When I cannot find strength within myself, He becomes my strength. When I cannot stop the shaking, He stills it with His presence. When I cannot quiet my mind, He speaks peace that penetrates deeper than thought. When I cannot save myself, He saves me. When I cannot rest, He gives rest, and it is enough. More than enough. It is everything.